This OnShape tutorial video. In this video, we will learn how to create assemblies of multiple parts using OnShape. To begin, we will create these 4 parts, which I will show you how to do in just a moment. Then we will take these 4 parts and use the OnShape assembly tool to combine them. This is a great skill to know if you want to build multi-part projects like cars, robots, anything you can think of, and then see how the parts fit together. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Log into your OnShape account and create a new part studio. Once you have created your part studio, we will be making that rectangular base first. So go ahead and click on Sketch, and then select the front plane. I'll click on the View cube to get a nice view of the front plane, and I'll begin to draw my rectangle. I'll use the Center Point Rectangle tool from Sketch. I like to draw my shapes centered about the axis, and I'll press Escape. Now let's add some dimensions to our rectangle. I'll use the Dimension tool, and I'll make it about 4 inches high. And then I'll use the Dimension tool again to make it 6 inches long. When you have your rectangle 4 by 6, click the green check mark. Let's add some depth to this part. Click on the Extrude button and select the sketch you just drew. I'll extrude it about 1/2 inch. And click the green check mark. And the last thing I'll do, let's change the color of this part. As you can see, I have part 1 down here. It lights up when I hover over it. You can right click or 2-finger click on part 1 and go to Edit Appearance and choose any color you want. In this example, I'll choose purple. You can pick whichever one works for you. Now I need to put a few holes through this part, right? That's where these pegs are going to fit. So go ahead and go back to your front view. You can create a new sketch on the top. And we want to create a circular hole and also a square hole. Our circle, we will dimension to be 1 inch in diameter. And we'll also dimension to be 1.5 inches away from the edge. Our square will have side lengths of 1, and its center will also be 1.5 inches from the edge. Click the green check mark, and then we will extrude both of these shapes and remove material. Great, our base is ready to go. Next, we have to create this orange leg. So what you can do, you can actually right-click on part 1, or sorry, not right-click, hover over this eyeball of part 1 and hide it. To get it out of the way, we can bring it back if we need to. But I'll hide it for now. And let's create that leg. So I'll create a sketch on the top plane. And that leg, let's use the center rectangle command. Let's go ahead and make it 4 inches wide by, we'll say 0.25 inches thick. And click the green check mark. We can extrude that part. Let's extrude it 4 inches and click the green check mark. Excellent. Just like our previous part, we can change the color of part 2. So let's right click on that, edit appearance, and choose this orange color, green check mark. All right, I have 2 of my parts. Let's keep it going. I'm gonna hide these, and I'm gonna create my circular peg. So I'll create a new sketch on the top plane. I'll use my circle tool, draw a circle. I will dimension it to be 1 inch in diameter, green check mark. And just like we always do, I will extrude. Let's maybe make this 5 inches tall and click the green check mark. Let's see what color I made it. Let's make this green, so you can right click on part 3, edit appearance, and make it green. And I will hide part 3, and let's make part 4. So let's sketch on the top plane, top view, and I'm gonna make a square peg. So I'll draw a square. I'll give each side a length of 1 inch using the dimension tool. Green check mark. And how do we make it 3D? We extrude it. And I'll extrude this one to 5 inches as well. What color to make this one? It looks blue. So I will right click on part 4, edit its appearance, and make it blue. Again, you can make it any color you want. So if I look down at my parts list here, I have all these awesome parts. Now, I want to see how these fit together. If I was going to 3D print these and put them together, I'd want them to actually connect. And that's called an assembly. So what you're going to do is click on the Insert New Element plus sign at the bottom left and click on Create Assembly. Now you can notice this assembly page is blank. What we have to do is click on Insert, and we will bring in parts to this area. You can see I have 2 part studios here. You should only have 1. But what you will do is click on the part studio where you created all those awesome parts, and you should see them listed out. You can then click on the part you'd like to insert, and then click once in the workspace. So I'll bring in the purple base. I'll click once on this leg, and click once in the part studio. I'll click once on the green peg, and then click once in the workspace. And lastly, let's bring in the square peg. Once you have done that, click on the green check mark. So you can see all my parts floating around. If you click on any part, you can move it. So I'm going to use this purple part as my base. And actually what I'd like to do is rotate it. So I'm going to click once on it, and you can see these arrows here. If you click on the little circle with the lines in it, it actually lets you rotate your parts. So I'm going to rotate it so it's facing up and down, and then I can actually drag it over to be out of the way. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I don't want this purple part to move around while I'm placing the pegs inside of it. That'd be kind of difficult. So I can actually do something called fix the part. It's like nailing it down or gluing it down. It won't move around on me. To do that, I will right click on the part and select fix. Excellent. Now, how do I bring in these pegs to mate with this part? That's what all these buttons up here are for. We're only going to be using the Planar Mate and the Cylindrical Mate. You can experiment with the other ones if you'd like. But let's first connect this leg to this purple base. To do so, click on the Planar Mate command. The Planar Mate takes two flat surfaces and squishes them together. So the two flat surfaces I want to mate, I'm going to select right now. So it says Mate Connectors. I want to squish the top. You might have to move your mouse around a little. That's the one I want. I want to squish this top face to the bottom of my purple part. So if you see I move this around, whoops. Not sure why that moved all the way over there. Let's move him back in. All right. Sometimes this will happen in assemblies, gets a little confusing, but you can just zoom out and drag your parts back in. And for some reason it didn't look like that mate worked the way I wanted it to, or I'm not exactly sure if it worked the way I wanted it to. It's kind of tough to see. No, it didn't actually do what I wanted to, which is perfectly fine. What we're going to do is we can actually just go over here to this mate, and we'll click on it, or right-click on it, and delete it. And let's try it again. So I'm going to go to Planar Mate, select the very top face of this part, and then I'm going to select this bottom face. There we go. I'm actually happy that happened, so you could see how to delete a mate if it does something crazy. Sometimes OnShape will do something you didn't expect it to. So you can see these parts are now kind of stuck together. I'm going to click once on this part and kind of rotate it into position. I actually want to mate this edge and this face together. So I'll click on my Planar Mate. I'll select that flat face and this flat face, and click on the green check mark. All right, we're almost there, and now I want this flat edge to be lined up with this flat edge. So I can click on the Planar Mate one more time and select both of those faces. And now we have this yellow leg is perfectly fixed to the edge of the purple base. Now let's get this green cylinder into place. This one's actually very easy. You actually use the Cylindrical Mate, go figure. So click on Cylindrical Mate. The Cylindrical Mate takes a round part like this cylinder, which I will select, and it connects it to a round hole like this one. Click on the green check mark, and there you go. Notice that I can drag this part up and down. Let's say I wanted to fix this face, like if I wanted this peg to never move and be lined up like this, I could use a Cylindrical Mate to mate this face with this purple part. But I want it to move freely, so I will leave this as is. All right, and then our last part, we have this square peg in this square hole. This one is a Planar Mate, just like the orange leg. Click on Planar Mate, and then we want to mate this flat side with this flat face of the inside of the hole. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get there. That's what I'm looking for. And I'll click the green check mark. Now this last mate's kind of tough to see. I'm going to actually move the peg out of the way, and I'm going to use that Planar Mate again, and I'm going to mate, let's say, this face with this side of the square peg. and click the green check mark. So if you did this correctly, you should have your square peg, your round peg, and your leg all fixed together. You can click the share icon and share this with your instructor, or snap a screenshot of this and turn it in that way. Thanks for watching, and good luck making more assemblies in OnShape.